Okay, for you guys on the Zoom, on the WhatsApp, there is the same presentation. You can't see this one. Okay. All right. Should we get going? You guys get home to your lovely family? Grab a seat wherever you want. Seat there. Have a chair there. All right. So, welcome everybody. I hope you guys on the Zoom can hear me. Like I said, it's in the WhatsApp chat, this presentation, if you can't make it. So, better? Yeah. Okay. Hello, everybody. My name's Keith. Hi, Keith. Hello, I'm Keith from the WhatsApp group. I'll be your talker for today. Also, on the trip, we're going to have Caroline. She is Summit Expeditions owner, co-founder, representative, and Chris Green, my endearing colleague who works for the physical training company with me. We won't go around with what's your name and one interesting thing about you tonight, but we'll do that when we all meet. My name's Kid. Yeah. Just the place. So, some of you were here last time where we quickly went through the overview of everything. Some of you know me, some of you know Caroline, some of you know Chris, but also some of you don't. Some of you guys on the Zoom and on the video watching this don't have a clue. They've just signed up because their mate wrote for their husband or their wife, roped them into this. So, yeah. Tell you a bit about me. Myself and Chris started the physical training company 2015. Since then, we've had a big effort to try and get people out of the gym. So for the last 5 or 6 years, we've just been going mountain biking and hiking. And then last year, Caroline took on a Guinness Book of World Records attempt to climb all 7 volcanic summits in the fastest time as a female. And then COVID stopped that. But as part of that, Kilimanjaro last year was the effort for the African continent. She'll tell you about it. To tell you a bit about Caroline, in 2015, she had a rock climbing accident where she broke all of her feet, her pelvis, her lower back, mid back, reconstructed loads of metal, loads of blood transfusion. That's how I met her. My background is rehab. She came to me, she got herself fixed up, and then she started hiking. So all these, and we also, Chris, Carol, and myself have done a lot of work with Go for Good in the past in very different shapes and forms. So we decided all of this would come together, and we do a fundraising last year for a primary school. And then when we got there, it was massively impressive, hugely impactful. Loads of people wanted to come again. So here we are. A year later, we're going again. Okay. So what we've got today is pretty much going to be based around the training program, right? There's a bunch of different facets for this trip, as you all know. There's all the fundraising that we're going to do, which we'll talk about as well. Right now, the license is still in process with the IHC. So the International Humanitarian City are organizing that. They're the legal governing body in charge of that. They'll give us the license, and then we can talk publicly about this is the trip we're doing. We're raising money for this enduro school, and it's all licensed and legal by blah, 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 blah. Here's the license number. So there's no real rush on the fundraising just yet. So we'll talk about all that when the time comes in January-ish. whenever it's kind of 3 months from about 2 weeks ago. So it's going to be quite a while. So there's no stress or strain on that. But just remember, for the fundraising, we're going to do it as a group. Some people will be terrible at it. Some people will be amazing at it. Some people will pitch together and do great. So by the end of it all, there's nobody going to be policing it. There's nobody keeping a tally on everybody. You've only raised this and you've only raised that. When it comes down to it, we'll all have Yalla Give links, post out to your friends and family. We'll do some group stuff in person with some cash, and hopefully you'll be able to tap up some of your corporate friends for some big bucks. Ching! And it's all goes to good cause. And we can put those little pictures together for you. We can help you out. We've got videos from the school from last year, all these things that will better help us this year. What else? The equipment and the kit we'll talk about much closer to the time. A lot of people are freaking out about that already because it's the sales on, there's whatever else. The sales on all year, everywhere, all over the place. So if you're buying stuff, just buy stuff that are warm as hell, as a golden rule for now, and then we'll get to all the nitty gritty of it. What? The video? Oh.
If you're gonna buy anything right now, just buy.
Caroline just volunteered herself to be the person to go to for kit equipment. So, but don't panic. We'll go through all that. Beg, borrow, steal, and then buy, because it does add up, right? So today we're going to go through the training. Couch to Kili is kind of what we're marketing this as, because I know some of you like the couch. Some of you like walking. So this is Kilimanjaro here, big tall mountain in the north-ish part of Africa. To get to this bit, you've done about 4 days of walking already, and then we camp somewhere around the bottom 10% level here, maybe 20%. Wake up in the middle of the night, we go up the mountain in pitch black, headlamps on, hoping the person in front of you has a nice smooth rhythm, because that's all you can see for the hour. Have a rest, go again, have a rest, go again. Some people like Chris don't make it to the top. Doesn't matter how fit you think you're going to be. I was really sick the 2 days before, and I woke up the night we were going feeling great. Thankfully, Chris went the opposite way. So there's no way to prepare or to predict the altitude. When we were there, one of the Sherpas, one of the porters, was the day after was brought down the mountain with pulmonary edema. It was his 25th time on the mountain, and he had one of the bursts too. So it just can come on or not. Just remember, it's not going to just, you're not going to take 2 steps and suddenly be pushed over by it. It's like from Chris will tell you, he has the experience in it. Like a nauseous feeling creeping on, dizziness, lightheadedness. There's lots of time to sort of feel it and then stop, drink, relax, breathe, get some sugar, get some hot tea into you. So it's not something that just flattens you and you're in the most torturous feeling you've ever had. Simply just turn around, back down the mountain, start to feel better. Issue is sickness, problem kind of solved. So what we need to do with this is to have the endurance, is basically the thing. So between now and then, we'll have lots of different activities and different training sessions. The main thing, so the main outline is going to be that the training blocks is split into three-month periods. So enjoy your Christmas. You're the alcoholic. Yeah, we got plenty of time. Get that in, get it finished. So we're going to be going slowly through the months, building up. The main thing we need to do is get your aerobic fitness up. So the main components we're going to look at injury-free. So at the beginning, any aches. It's not a particularly it's physically demanding in the sense that it's walking, but it's not fast, it's not steep, it's not technical, there's no impact. We need to make sure that all your knee pain, all your back pain, all your hip pain, and whatever pain is fixed and not a problem. So we need to get all that solved in the first, soon ASAP. Get that solved ASAP. If you have something in the back of your mind you have worried about, go get it looked at. Come talk to me. I can talk to you about injuries till you fall asleep, and then we'll get that fixed. The second thing is cardiovascular fitness. So very briefly, these are the hours are going to be walking more or less. First day is 4 hours, then 6 hours, 5 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours, 16 hours, which is about 12 hours up, maybe less, maybe 8, 9 hours up, and then the remaining back down to camp, and then all the way back down to the next camp. And the last day is 4 hours. Okay, so this is our general overview of the route that we're going to take. Yeah. One of these days will be an acclimatization day, but we're waking up at one camp, we're walking up, we're coming back down to another camp. So we're actually on that acclimatization day, we are moving. So every day pack on your back, boots on your feet, slowly across the mountain. We're going to talk a lot about heart rate zones. Does anyone have any idea what that means? Robin also works with me and Chris. So any fitness, if me and Chris are ignoring you, ask Robin. Heart rate zone, we're going to talk a lot about that today. And then it's a bit of a calculation to work out. And then the good news is this is zone 5 is the intense where you want to die zone. Zone 1 is where you've just got up and you've started to walk the dog, right? So zone 2 is just in that easy to moderate zone. I'll talk a little bit about the physiology in just a sec. So then the strength training, obviously legs, core, back, calves, ankles, strength, endurance, and then recovery. So we'll do the recovery phase, I think the last phase, we'll focus on that. But that's just so that when you go to sleep at night, it's disrupted sleep, your body knows how to recover. So you've been training for quite a while, over a few months, and every time you're into bed in your king size, queen size, soft, puffy bed, your body knows how to recover and you wake up feeling great the next day, right? So that's the recovery we're looking for. And then the stamina for hill walking, uneven terrain, the thin air, we'll do our best to get you fit and able for that. But like I said, that's the altitude at the top end that will get you if it wants to get you. And then there's the lowest oxygen. And at the end, we're going to do a high intensity stuff, get your general, this will be a general strength condition, will be part of the everything that happens. We need, for those of you who feel like you need to work on your body composition, Chris, complaining to me last, you've been a bit heavy on the mountain. Carbohydrates, we'll get to that as well. Okay, so, you guys okay? All right, so first thing we're going to do in January when we get back at the start line is going to test your aerobic capacity to see what your heart rate should be throughout the first block of training. Okay, this is basically an aerobic threshold test. It's very simply, if you have a wearable watch, Garmin, heart rate monitor, anything like that, just going to walk / run. We're going to work this out before. You're going to get an hour at an easy to moderate pace. And then we're basically going to work out your average heart rate drift, I'll talk about in a sec, to calculate what your zone 2 is. So zone 2 we'll get to, but just bear in mind in January, we'll try and do it together, but obviously logistically it's not going to work. If we can't do it, there is a generic calculation I can tell you and you can do. So you don't have to, if you can't make it, if you're busy for traveling, but we're going to do this as best we can together. So like I said, to begin injury-free, get assessed early. We just need robust tissues. We don't need to just be able to lift 1,000 kilos, but we need to be robust that you can take about maybe 100,000 steps over 8 days. I don't know, that's a massive guess. So we can fix most things with targeted strength training, and if we can't fix stuff, if it is a little bit of surgery or a little bit of whatever, then let's get that done now. We can still recover you in time for next year, whatever needs to happen. We need to get the green light from the medic if needs be. For those who need it, I can give you access to, I can show you where you can find it. Kickstart your fitness journey online. It's 4 weeks, very basic strength training, super basic. Listening to me talk for 12 hours on a life of education. That's another company that myself and Caroline have, just full disclosure. So what is the zone 2? Basically what we need, so typically when people think about training and you think about heart rate, you just think about your heart and your lungs beating away, and the speed that they go is how hard you're working, right? So we have zone 1. If we imagine that your maximum heart rate, so these percentages, there's zone 3, 4, and 5, which I've blacked out, because we don't really need to pay attention too much. We're mainly in zone 1 and zone 2. So 220, the number 220 minus your age is your maximum heart rate. So some of you 40 in the room, 220 minus 40 is 180. So in theory, when your heart hits 180, you're supposed to collapse. It doesn't work that way, but that's how they work the science. Okay, you're supposed to go, that's the max, that's 100%, and then I need to stop. So there's some generic percentages. There's very old science. So in one sense, it's old science. it's tried and tested, and in the other sense, it's old science. There's been lots of branches off of improvements and new theories and new calculations. But just in your head, we say your 180 is your maximum heart rate. We're going to work at 60 to 70%. So that's about, between, say, if your max is 180, your 60% is 108, and your 7% is 126, right? 126 is not very high. When you look at how high you're working, if you go for a run, if you go for a cycle, if you're in a crank class or one of those, right? So it's a low, simple aerobic. Now, as it will for sure improve your heart and your lungs, the main thing we're trying to get you to be when we go to these mountains is we need the cells. So this is a typical cell. And in the cell, we have these little mitochondria, which is this guy. This is basically the engine of the cell, and this needs fuel. And this is where people talk about being fat adapted, oxygen fueled, or being sugar, carbohydrate fueled. Okay, so the higher you go in the range, the more carbohydrate, glycogen, and then you just don't do too much out 100%, so you slow back down. So that's where these mitochondria, these cells start to get their fuel from carbs, okay? With that strategy over 4, 5, 6, 7 hours, we're going to be pretty depleted, okay? Just science behind that. You're not going to have enough stored. We're going to need more sugar. We're not going to have enough sugar, and then tissue strength and capacity is going to start to deteriorate. If we can make this oxygen and fat adapted, as we go up the mountain, even though the oxygen is thinning, we have a better chance of using the vast amount of oxygen that's surrounding us and the vast amount of body fat that we have and fats that we have stored in our other cells to fuel this, which will fuel this, which will keep all the muscles, everything that we need to go, working for, like I said on that previous slide, between 7 and 16 hours, right? Because a big part of your ascent to the top, and this is the challenge I faced, this is where I was not quite successful getting right to the top of the very peak, Uhuru Peak, was I know that we got to the top, to the Gilman's Crest, the crater. The Uhuru Peak was another 2 hours around the corner. If there was a helicopter to take me down from Uhuru, I would have gone for it. But knowing that I had to get there and then get back and then get all the way back down the mountain, I couldn't really risk that. I didn't fancy having the 5 ladies in our group who were tip-top shape carrying me or holding me or steering. I can't really put people at risk for that. So I turned around, went back down, got to the Gilman's Point, got to the first crest, but was like, I don't feel like I have the confidence to make it all the way to the end. Our route this year is different. We have an acclimatization day, which we didn't last year, and we're coming up slightly closer to the sign. So it's not 2 hours the way we're going. It was about 45 an hour. There you go. So we'll get to the peak. Instead of having to go 2 hours around the corner, we've got to go 40, 45, whatever. And then the same back. Because you have to judge that on the way back, because it's very cliche, but going up is optional, going down is compulsory. And you need to go down. You need to get down, you need to have it in your legs, because people won't be out. Everybody is helping each other, but people are also drained. So we're winding it all back. We need to be oxygen and fat adapted. So a lot of the training is going to be walking, hiking, super slow jogging, exercise bike, course trainer in this zone, but it's for long time, right? It's time is where we start to get the adaptation here. We got to go for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and then pushing it on to an hour and a half, 2 hours as we get closer, which is difficult possibly to fit into your schedule, but when the summer is outside, in April, May, June, July, whatever it is, and you don't want to go outside for hours, those lucky enough to have treadmills in your apartment or your building, whatever, you guys will probably complete Netflix by the time the summer's finished. So if anybody is confused or by this, don't worry. This is probably most of you's first time seeing this info. Just know we're going to work in heart rate zones. You're going to get to know it really well. And you're going to go, I better slow down. It's all about actually being a bit slow. So general strength training. We've got the gym. any gym you want to go to, you can train in. The circuit classes here, the first few blocks will be strength-based circuit classes here. So our circuit classes, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, are strength-based, general conditioning. It's a circuit class, so it's still on a clock, it's still in short rest, but the exercises are much more strength-based rather than absolutely just going for it, getting your heart rate too high. Okay, any potential rehab exercise will fall under the strength. Inside the programs, we'll have single leg stuff, obviously glutes, quads, calves, lots of your core. In general, we're going to go at the beginning higher reps with a moderate weight. For sure, absolutely. We don't need to be Ronnie Coleman or any crazy strong man, but we need to be able to go for long. So high repetitions means longer in the set working. So this is where we'll be at the start. So the outdoor endurance then, when the weather allows it, so it's kind of now, we need to, stamina is going to be the main thing. The ability to go up and down hills, over the terrain, get used to what an incline feels like, get used to what a decline feels like. Long days, well now it's the winter, get out, get as many hours as you can. And then as the summer comes by, this will obviously have to go indoors because we're sticking around in Dubai. And then we'll have to, there is other solutions. We'll have ski Dubai. We hope we'll have access to that. Stair climbs, everything else in your building. We have stair climbing in Marina, in the Marriott, all 56 floors that are there. So we'll have lots of chances to do this, but we're never really going to be able to replicate actually getting out and walking. The uneven surfaces, carrying a backpack. So as we get closer to it, on the mountain, 5 or 6 kg will be probably what you have in your bag: water, snacks, a couple of dry clothes, like rain clothes. Few little bits, maybe a chunky camera, whatever you have. It's not going to be more than 5, 6 kg, but that we need to be able to carry that for a long time again. We need to stay hydrated, so we're probably better off being in, well, we're probably more aware rather of hydration being in Dubai in the heat. But this is hugely important when it comes to your cardiac and your heart rate drifts. You know, we'll talk about the drift in just a second, but basically as we start to exercise, you find a pace on a treadmill, it's 5.5, and your heart rate is at a certain beat, and your heart rate will level off at that. The longer we go on at that, the more, even though nothing will change on the treadmill, your heart rate will begin to drift, begin to increase. The more dehydrated you are, the less water you have in your blood. The less water you have in your blood, the thicker the blood is, the harder it is to shunt around your body. So your heart rate begins to have to work a bit harder. So you basically lose the viscosity of the blood, which is real common in the heat, as well as if you are in the heat, your body is going to get hot, and then you're going to try and find peripheral surface area to cool the blood down, and then you're also going to have a slightly higher heart rate. So these things need to be aware of. That could be up to 15% of a drift. It will make sense one after your 4th or 5th or 6th exercise session. The high intensity stuff then we'll do, the specifically high intensity stuff we'll do towards the end to be a bit more anaerobically prepared. But this will come into play for those people who want to start getting on like a bit of a weight loss crusade. Yeah. Just get in, get started, and just begin to get yourself. The lighter, stronger you are going up the mountain, the higher your chances are of success. So you can decide what you want to do, but this is the time to be like, let's get everything in line. Make sure that we all get that big photograph together at the top. They also will increase the robustness of the tissue, the kind of moving around fast, and then improving your ability to recover as quickly as possible. All right, so this is what block 1, January to March. Just eyes on the bottom bit. Our primary goals are to build a foundational strength, rehab exercises and addressing any existing issues, building a tolerance to exercise. So your not only your physiological system, but just your mental system, that this isn't going to kill me. I can persist. I can persevere. Building the aerobic base. So lots of that zone 2 work that we're going to be talking about. Familiarize yourself with the data, so get an idea of what the hell I'm talking about. Yeah, that's going to be the major part of the first one. So lots of questions, direct them to me and or Chris. We will help you with this part of the process and improve your body composition and overall conditioning. Okay, so this is an example. And we have changed it to a 5-day working week from Monday to Friday. Taking a risk on that. But we'll start on a Monday. Foundational strength. So I'm just over. You can all see. I'm clicking now. See this over here. Foundational strength will be sort of your Monday, full body, just getting the basics. Do that in the circuit classes here. Do that in the gym. Do it wherever you are in the world. If you know what you're doing, off you go. Check in with us if you need any advice, whatever. But the more stuff we can do together, look around. We need to get to know everybody. All the best buds. You ladies will have known what it's like to be with everybody in pairs, and the lads will know what it's like to stand awkwardly together looking up the mountain as you have to wait for all the girls to finish that. So we're going to get nice and close. So the more we can get in together, the more fun we're all going to have, the less awkward those bits are going to be. Tuesday will be cardio work, zone 2, 30 to 60 minutes at the beginning. And then we're going to stretch that pretty quick to kind of get ourselves up to about an hour. Because we've got good weather, we're going to go aim for a hike or 2 hikes at the weekend, getting yourself out, getting out in the mountains. Same kind of thing throughout. 45, just stretching the time, foundation strength, outdoor walks, and then hiking where we can. Okay? Simple enough for that. If this looks crazy daunting, like, oh my God, I've got the kids thing, and I've got the other thing, and I've got the other thing. This is, if we can do this perfectly, amazing. But we'll find solutions for people who are, if you miss a bunch of these, it's not detrimental to everything. This is just going to massively increase your chances. Block 2, April to June, April, May, June. We're going to just go intermediate strength, so just a little bit more. And this will be, the reason why this is just strength full bodies, because your strength exercise will be different to your strength exercise, etc., right? So we're keeping these bits general. For when it comes around to, we can talk to you guys about creating proper specific programs, my knee, my back, my shoulder, whatever it is. We can fix up all this as we get closer. Tuesday then, we're going a bit longer. Tuesday is your cardio day. Throughout the 3 months, we're getting into the warmer weather. Wednesday then, back to strength. Thursday, a little rest day, because we're going to try and up the intensity, so we'll throw in an extra rest day here and here. Friday, we're going to get on a cardio machine, and then Sunday, which is the New World Sunday, will be a weekend, hike, whatever we can. As we get into the summer, we're going to try and get into Ski Dubai and get access to this slope. We'll probably have about an hour there, quick up and down 4 times, check your poles, check your boots. It's not that cold, not compared to Kilimanjaro, but, oh, I didn't go through this. So the main block 2 goals, strength adaptation. So to keep yourself getting stronger, to improve the endurance of the muscles. Get right deep stuck into a routine where you know if somebody wants to do something with you in June, you can do it on a Thursday because the other days you're committed. That's how we're going to be. Hiking, stair climbs, reducing the time to fatigue, okay, improving body composition and conditioning, and then still building upon that aerobic 2 capacity. Building the zone 2 by time, so just increasing the time, not hammering the intensity. Right? So we're going to try keep the intensity at a 2 out of 5. And stretch the time. So that's what we mean by building time, getting longer and keeping the heart rate down. Okay, happy with that. Coming into the summer. Block 3 then, July to September, the month before. Main aim here is to reduce the recovery time intro of the anaerobic high intensity stuff, which by this stage you'll be fine to do. That won't be scary to anybody. You probably have got involved in that already because you're just raring to go. But definitely by sort of middle of the summer, we want to be looking at a couple of HIIT sessions. Regular hikes as best we can, because it's going to be still warm, obviously. I went running in the summer, throughout the summer. If you get out of bed, it's not that bad. You just got to get out of bed. Like 4 a.m. Beep, 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 beep. And then you get there for 6, coffee on the way. You got at least 2 hours before the sun comes up over the mountain and starts to cook you. So that's for Shauka. It's an hour and 10 minutes away. Trust me, I'm not going to make anybody, but it'll be happening. You can join in. We'll be going. We'll be there. So we'll still be getting out, whether it's Ski Dubai, whether it's out in the mountains. And then moving into September, again, these are just going to be stretching the time, 2 to 3 hours strength, Friday, anaerobic zone. This will be zone 3, zone 4. So 3 to 4 out of 5 intensity. And then the cardio is up again. Okay. Anybody scared or Everybody able to digest that? For anybody who wants to go deep on the reading, there is these two books. This one primarily, this is a training book for this, and then this one is a bit more about actual climbing. Like, you've all seen 14 Peaks?
Yeah.
All of your work colleagues asked you, have you seen it?
Yeah.
So this is that. When you want to be him, read this one first. Read these ones. This PDF is on the WhatsApp group now, so you can click on these. It'll take you to the Amazon. They're pretty chunky reading, but in there it's somewhat of a text. So that's the last slide of those. Have I left anything else?
So what you said is right about all of the training sessions, you need to think about making yourself feel like whatever you're doing, treadmill or step up, and you're doing how, and it's going to look like I'm barely breaking sweat, and my heart rate is how you're actually training for an 8-day target. You just keep that in the back of your mind instead of I need to make it as hard as possible. You don't need to make it as hard as possible. You need to be really chilled and just continue on. It's literally an 8-day, very slow time. So keep that in the back of your mind. That's how you're training. So whenever you're doing all of these training intervals, you get longer and longer. Your heart rate is staying really conversational. You should be able to be on the stepper or the machine or in class and actually be able to sustain a conversation. That's much.
Yeah, so these are the zones. This is a zoomed out version, so it's a little bit blurry. Zone 1 is 50 to 60. Zone 2 is 60 to 70. This is ballpark figure. The drift thing is going to be different for people, right? For those of us who are really, we'll say, under conditioned, these numbers might be a bit different. I think this is for a 30-year-old person. If I work the maths out backwards, I think this is for a standard 30-year-old. So ignore the actual beats. Ours will be a few beats different, each of us. But look, 30 zone 3, 70 to 80. Feels like light muscle fatigue, easy breathing, moderate sweating. So we want to be less than that. You want to be able to comfortable, easy breathing, low muscle load, light sweat. There's a talk test that will go with this. And if you're able to talk, not just like a couple of words. This is a couple of word answers. This is one word answer. This is don't fucking talk to me. and you won't even be able to speak because you're breathing too heavy. So winding it all the way back down. This is like literally 2 people having a chat as you're walking fast. Yeah. But we're gonna tune into the actual heart rate. So not that you have to buy a wearable watch or a heart rate monitor, but if you have one, we'll teach you how to use it properly. This, not only will it get you fit for mountains, it's going to get you fat, oxygen adapted, so most of your cellular fuel. So those mitochondria that I was talking about, that's all at the cellular level. Do this smoothly. Should you avoid cardio? Good question. No, that's a good question. So we need to be building in if we're hammering too many high intensity stuff, if you're hammering too many of these, it's going to start to shift you into a carbohydrate fueled mitochondria cell. So this cell effectively is going to be your muscle cell, your bone cell, your brain cell, every cell, your hormone cell, your digestive cell, your water cell, everything. This is what we need to be oxygen fat adapted. So if you go 9 months oxygen fat adapted, burning oxygen and fat, you should be pretty decent body composition as well as aerobic. You gonna say something?
Yeah, I was gonna say everyone here is between a little younger. Yeah, okay, but we're in that.
For another how long?
I'm 16. Okay, so if
Really hit that ball hard, didn't you?
when
For a
you're
16-year-old.
When you go to class, you're all gonna look at your heart rate or your Apple Watch and be like, oh, like I need to stay under 135, 140. And whenever you're above that, slow down. Stay below that. So even if you're in a class here and you're going really fast and you're doing 30s, and you're like, oh shit, my heart rate is 160, and you do that really slow. Does that make sense? So then your heart rate goes down and so you're always at that go-to. So yeah, to answer the question about not do those classes, you can, but just slow down. Maybe just go at a really easy pace.
But realistically, if you're doing 5 classes a week, it's not as good as doing 2 or 3 or 2 or 1 and then getting on a machine. Yeah, like there's the basic fitness that we need to hit. So we need to get everybody's basic foundational strength. Get your tolerance to exercise, right? So you guys haven't come to the class for however long, probably there, but we need to make sure that we're getting these other sessions in as well, you know? So come into the class just for a little boopy-doo, but then a coffee for 2 hours. Maybe take the coffee on to the beach. 1 hour, coffee for 1 hour, hour and a half. 2 hours? Okay. Point is, take the coffee, go for a walk. It's time, it's length, it's duration, right? Those of you who think you're probably going to be hammering work, you don't have time for all this, don't worry, there is. We'll find ways to do it. Say again? Yeah, quit your job. If you come back from Abu Dhabi, just walk from Abu Dhabi, where it is, just it's a light job maybe as you get towards the summer, but we'll find workarounds. This is the ideal template, right? There is solutions, there's substitutes, there's way to make it work. But we want to give you guys, I want to first to get everyone into the room today and say welcome, and this is going to be exciting. Give you guys some sort of a map as to what's going to happen. So the training will start in January. Enjoy your Christmas. We'll start talking about fundraising and stuff then. If anybody has any corporates where you already know that your boss loves spending money on charities, let us know early. We're going to have a 5,000 dirham target per person, which just has us up somewhere around 200,000 dirhams. Last year with 18 people, we beat the target by 40%. So we want to do a bit more than that, or that as well, it's fine. But some people did really well last year, some people did very little, and it didn't matter. There's no names, there's no list, there's no scoreboard. We got the money in the end. Yala Give got us about 90,000 dirhams out of the 140. And that was all in the last 2 weeks as people just went mad with their Instagram stories, hitting up friends and colleagues. But if we can get corporates in early, it makes life really easy. So go knocking on doors, let us know. I can talk to you guys through myself and Sean. Sean is also Caroline's business partner. You'll see his name popping up on your emails and stuff. He is the challenge director at Go for Good as well as running Summit Expeditions. So between he and myself, we'll do the charity side of the chat. Myself and Chris will do the training stuff. Caroline and Sean will do the kit and the admin and the payments. On the mountain, when we get there, by the way, we're going to have such a big group that we'll split people into sort of admin groups. We're all going to be trucking across the mountain together. We're all going to be sleeping in the camps all together. But when we wake up, there'll be 15 people. Will be my team blue. Caroline will have a crew. Sean will have a crew. We'll have 3 main groups just to make sure that everybody's signed, sealed, delivered, ready to go. And then off we go. Same thing. When we get to the camp, is everybody here? Bish, bash, bash. Okay, good. So amongst the group, we'll have these little talks. Anything else? Any questions? Got it sorted? Everyone's ready to go? Nutrition. We can talk about nutrition. Nutrition is going to be vastly different for each person. The main thing is on the mountain is going to be, they give us the foods, they provide, the food is quite good for what you'd expect. Lunch in the middle of the day, they give us these little lunch boxes, which I would say everybody have some flapjacks or have some whatever you want for the day. There's a couple of days we'll have lunch on the route. Most of the time we'll get to the next camp before lunch. We'll have lunch there where they'll make it for us. But the pre-trip nutrition, we can talk about. We'll talk about it on an individual basis. It's going to be very different. Some people like this, some people like that, some people use a veggie. So instead of just going through the protein, fats, and carbs now, main thing when you get there, just have all the treats and sugars and sweets and stuff that you want. We'll talk about that a little bit closer to the time.
Do you have an appetite on the mountain?
Probably more likely you tend to lose it, but it's force yourself to eat. You get probably get thirsty. You don't lose the temptation to drink water, but yeah, some of the guys are like, no, I didn't really eat today. I don't feel the best. So I'd say you do probably lose a little bit of appetite.
So it's a most people do this like just have a and you have to remember when you get there, we'll talk about this.
There is altitude sickness pills called Diamox. Speak to your doctor. I'm not a doctor. It's not my area of expertise. Just as tricks. But it makes you want to go to the bathroom a lot as a side effect. It's a diuretic. So you'll be up through the night and you'll be through the day needing to go pee. Whether you drink loads, well, you still have to drink loads of water because you're going up and you're using up, and then the Diamox makes you go to the bathroom. So you'll definitely want to drink. Food is different. So we'll talk about all this again. If anyone wants to talk about nutrition between now and then, Chris Green is your main man for nutrition. I hate it. Talk to me about your sore knee, your sore back, your sore elbow all day. Back, we can have a chat. Talk to Chris about about dietary needs and gaining muscle, losing weight, whatever you want to do. So yeah, I think that's going to be it for now. If no one has any other questions.
Is that something that we should start?
Yeah. Yeah. So for right now, there's loads of sales on. I would suggest just buy. Caroline's already mentioned buy boots now, and then you got plenty of time to wear them in and soften them up. But anything warm, just warm is going to be the thing. There will be more sales on, and when it gets closer to the actual September, October time, we'll get everyone in the room. So we'll do a kit day. We'll talk about everything to bring in the room. Bring all the stuff. Caroline will go through each person kit by kit. Let me see everything you have. Get it on the floor. We might have to do it in two days because there's so many people, but it's a full 3-4 hours of, let's see your bag. Okay, your bag. Going through everybody, right? You need to buy this, you need to buy that. Have you got 2 pairs of socks, 3, 4, 5? Good. And that's what they'll do with us in the hotel as well. The night before we go, Caroline, me, and the hotel staff will go around every single room with a list. What have you got? Okay, you're missing this. The hotel has a storeroom where you can go in. It's from previous travelers who've left poles, hats, scarves. They didn't want them to go in and borrow it. It's not the most colorful, it's not the most trendy, but it's exactly what you need when it's minus 10 degrees. You're on the mountain and no one cares what's going on. So we'll do that extensive kit check again. So did you all get the document?
Yeah.
You've all read through, yeah. So have a look through the itinerary on that. That's quite detailed what we're doing. We'll go through it again much closer to the event.
Yeah, so last year I ended up making that last year. So just watch the video that I always want to, and then there's another show you where to go and actually tell you everything. Most of it's stuff. If you have questions about it, then just ask me, but it's
We'll go through everything. We'll go through like medicine, like what stuff you need, all that. We'll do all that closer to the time. You're not going to be left needing to ask too many questions when it comes around. So we'll make sure. Caroline's done it twice. She's done a ton of other mountains. Chris and I have now done it. Laura, Destiny, there's 3 or 4 this year were there last year who you can ask. If you don't want if you want an opinion on what it is to be female in the mountain and having to go out to the bushes in the middle of the night amongst all these crazy Tanzanian porters, feel free to ask the ladies. Cool. Anything else? All right. I think that's it then. Thanks for coming out. 45 minutes. We're done, then we're done. All right. Thank you. You guys at home got any questions? Let me just see. Any questions, you guys at home? Hi, Farah. Hi, Lauren. Yeah, so that's it. If you've got no questions, got my WhatsApp if you want on the group. Just ping me a WhatsApp, and we can go through them. Cool. All right, I'm just going to end this.
Thank you.
Well, have
Bye.
a good evening, day, wherever you are in the world. Bye.